Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Mass's World this week. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give it a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to follow my day-to-day life, my Twitter handle is @Massad14 and my Instagram is @MassWorld14. I hope you enjoy the show. Now here's a quick message from our sponsors. Welcome into episode 4 of Mass's World podcast. Today we're going to take a deep dive into our Disney World trip that we took in April and discuss topics like the Flower and Garden Festival, our top attractions, our favorite places to eat. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome in my wife, Anne.
Hello.
We've been married for just over 3 years, and I've been going on this trip for since I was 7. My dad's been taking me, and this is what?
I think my 5th or 6th trip, maybe 6th.
Yeah, 5th or 6th, and this one was a little different though. My dad went with us as well, and we got to surprise you. Usually, we kind of build up this whole Disney trip and we plan it all together, and you just kind of showed up and
it was
got to
awesome.
go.
It was awesome because usually it's like at least 6 months, if not a year, of anticipation, and so the surprise I found out. And we just were going to Disney World. It was so surreal. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was so fun. And I want to preface with this question. A lot of people ask me, like, why do you go to Disney every year? And they're genuinely curious of like, why we just continue to run it back. And we boiled it down to 3 things. It was like, we're with people that we love, with really good food.
Such good food.
And then you get to exercise.
And the rides, just everything.
It's just fun, and you'd think that they might get redundant, but I haven't found that personally.
And when you say exercise, like we walk, I would say about 11 miles a day. So
yeah, you're keeping up with the
You're getting your
avalanche.
steps in for sure.
And it's just a ton of fun. We also feel like we're kind of semi-Disney experts. We feel like we've gotten
like to think.
Yeah, we've gotten our trip down to a science, our preferred trip.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of the beauty of it. It's like you can cut it however.
You can tailor it to however you like.
Yeah, and like we're not gonna go to Disney World and hang out by the pool all day. We're gonna do different stuff, but that may be for you. Do the half day type things, but we've kind of found a rhythm that we like, and we'll go into that a little bit more later in the show. But I want to move into going in April. This was the first time we've ever been in April. Usually we go during the weltering heat.
Middle of the summer.
Yeah, or we've been at Christmas, which it feels like it's just as hot as summer because
there's so many people.
Literally, you cannot walk without bumping into someone. It's amazing, and it's gorgeous in the Christmas time.
It is. Their decorations are amazing.
They're special.
Yeah.
It's just a very crowded time, and we'd prefer to choose the less crowded and go. But we went during the Garden and Flower on accident. It just kind of worked out.
It was happening.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out, and we always had tried to go to the Food and Wine from September to November, but it just never really worked out just because of my schedule. And so, when we got to go in April, I was starting to look up things that were going on, and I was like, oh, wow, sweet.
And April's key, too, because most kids are in school. It's past spring break. It's not summer yet, and so there's not as many families, especially during the week when you don't have the locals that are visiting on the weekend.
Sure. So I'm gonna kind of go in and describe it a little bit. Basically, at Epcot, they have a ton of new food options, and then they have, I don't know how to phrase this correctly, bushes.
I know, we need to understand what the term is actually called because we butcher this.
But they cut out the Disney characters out of bushes, and they're unbelievable. Like they look realistic if they weren't green, and
it's incredible. I mean, the level of detail. If Google Flower and Wine or Flower and Garden Festival, and you'll see what we're talking about. It's a joke,
incredible. And we need to find the correct verbiage for it. But anyways, it's ridiculous. And just kind of to go in why this is kind of a game changer. It adds a different element to Disney World at Epcot, and we love Epcot, and we stay at the boardwalk for two reasons. One of them we'll get into later with our desserts. But the other one is we just love the food at Epcot. So when they have all these new little kiosks around World Showcase, it's just it's amazing. And then not to mention the weather.
And the boardwalk, for those of you who don't know, it has an entry directly into Epcot.
Called the International Gateway.
So you don't have to take any kind of transportation. It's easy to get in. There's really no lines. So it's super convenient.
Right. And then I wanted to hit on the weather.
Yeah.
Like it was 75.
It's amazing.
Every day.
We're used to sweating by, the moment, because Orlando's so humid too. Yeah. And so when you walk out, I'm wearing a jacket and leggings in the morning, and I really don't take my jacket off until... What? Like 12:31, yeah. And so it was incredible.
And it's just gorgeous out. We did something a little unique this year when we found out we were going. We said, well, how can we, we had about 1.5 Epcot days built in, and we were like, how can we work in the flower and garden to our trip? And what we did is we decided to have a lunch around each kiosk, and kind of what our thing was is
grab and go.
We were going to walk up to every kiosk, and it had a little menu, and every time we walked up to a new one, we'd rotate who got to pick what we were eating. So we'd grab it and we'd split it, and then we'd go to the next kiosk and grab it and split it, and it ends up sounding like a ton of food, but it's bite-sized.
It is bite-sized. It's like almost it's snacking. You're
snacking around the world. That's a good way to put it. And we loved it.
It was awesome.
And it was good.
It was really good.
What was your favorite?
So my favorite, it was in front of Germany.
I think it was called the Barn Market.
Barn Market, yeah, and it was a toasted pretzel bread, and it had Black Forest ham, and then just I think it's Swiss cheese melted on top of it, and it was so.
It was good. I really liked it as well.
It was savory, and it wasn't too heavy because I think that it was a smaller, like bite size.
Sure. But
that was my top for sure.
Yeah, I think my favorite was this is gonna sound funny, but the corn on the cob. Yeah. It was special corn on the cob. It was called street corn, and it had this garlic butter spread, and this was from Trowel and Trelly's. This was near the entrance to the World Showcase, but oh my gosh, it was like broken up croutons, kind of sprinkled on this garlic spread.
Garlic cheese was involved.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I don't know, I can't recommend the Garden and Flower enough.
Yeah, it was awesome, because something that we heard about the Food and Wine Festival, which happens in the fall, is that it's great, but I think it's gotten really popular over the years, so the Flower and Garden is almost
a little lower key.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a hidden secret now.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. So if you can get out there during this time of year, I believe it's from April to the end of May, it is totally
worth it.
Totally worth it. It might be March. I don't know. I call myself a Disney expert, but you can look it up. But make it happen. Go during that time. So I'm gonna kind of segue into the meat of this podcast, and the reason we really wanted to do this. We wanted to make a tops list for anyone going of stuff that you need to hit or restaurants you need to go to. But this is, again, just our opinion, and I mean, this is kind of the way we tailor our trip, and it really works for us. So we're going to kind of split our lists. We made a couple different lists. We made a top 5 thrill attractions, a top 5 relaxed attractions. Then we're going to hit on our top 3 favorite restaurants and our top 3 desserts in Disney World. And, maybe kind of a big ask to hit all of them in one trip.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Definitely.
But if you can pull it off, it's totally worth it. There's something called the Refresh method that will help you get fast passes. You can look into that if you want to do that. But it's a strategy to make sure and try and get everything.
All the good rides.
Right. So in no particular order, we're going to go through the top 5 thrill attractions first. And, these are family-friendly coasters. Yeah. But they still are thrill rides.
They're still super fun.
And, I think they're safe for the whole family by and large.
Right. There's always a height limit, but...
Yeah, and there might be some might be a little bit more intense than most, but I think it's fairly, tame. So without further ado, these are in no order. Number 1, Splash Mountain at Magic Kingdom, just a classic.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not really a thrill ride until the one big drop.
Right, that's really the only element of that ride that is thrill. It's a log ride, essentially, is the best way to describe it.
Right, and it's 12 minutes. It's a worth it ride.
It's the longest ride in Disney.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think it's worth the wait, whatever it may be. If you can get a fast pass, obviously do it, because it's fantastic. It has great theming. It goes through a cool story about Brer Rabbit, and
Yep.
there is this one part on the ride that it's nostalgic for us because we love it.
Yeah.
But if you're on the right seat after you do the big drop, you kind of turn this corner and there's this water that pelts down.
Is it a frog spitting out water or something?
No, I don't know what exactly it is, but there's this
It's like a fountain.
There's this water that's hitting this rock and it bounces into the so you're kind of wet from the big drop. And then you finally, your expectations are okay, we're moving on from the wet thing. I can start to dry off.
This one person just gets
and then
pelted.
the right side of the wall just gets pelted. And it's quite frankly funny now, and we always forget about it. And whoever ends up on the right kind of takes it. But it's a great ride. It's amazing. And the thrill aspect, I mean, it's good.
It is good.
I got a boomerang for Instagram, and I felt really bold. I could have dropped my phone. I was very stupid.
That is so bold.
I was not totally did not. Yeah, risk totally outweighed the reward. That I don't even have that many followers, so it doesn't. Moving on. Number 2, Rock and Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios. This one I'd say is pretty intense.
Yeah, this
throughout
one's
the whole
probably
thing.
one of my favorites.
Yeah. So what's the premise of the ride?
So it's essentially you're in LA, you're going to an Aerosmith concert. You gotta get there really fast, and so they get you an exclusive VIP stretch limo that is the roller coaster, and you're trying to make it to the show quickly. So this roller coaster or this stretch limo is flying, and I think how fast does it go right out of the gate?
0 to 60 in 3 seconds
and it's
or something.
so fun. It's an inside ride. But
air conditioned.
Air conditioned. It's dark, but there's a bunch of neon signs, so you really do feel like you're on a highway of some sort. So. And
it's flying, and you'll feel the G-forces on your chest when you shoot out of that.
So fun.
That ride, but it's
a good one.
That
one
really
has.
good.
I think it's one of the few rides with a loop in Disney World.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't know why, but we always hit it in the morning.
Yes, which.
I don't know why.
I think because it wakes us up. It's
but it's
better than a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it really is. But I once did it 15 times in one trip with my dad.
That's a funny
I don't
story.
know, man.
Later.
God bless my dad. I don't know how he did that.
He just wanted to get coffee, and Ryan would not let him.
I would not.
This is
let him.
when you were 7.
Yeah,
so.
7, 8 years old. Number 3, Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom. This I'll kind of touch on this. This takes place in the Himalaya mountains. Yeti is chasing you up through Mount Everest, and I think the thrill part of this ride, I mean, you'll go backwards, you're flying, you're going probably 40 miles per hour with a lot of hairpin turns, but on top of the thrill, I think the queue and how well done it is.
Oh my gosh.
It's worth even waiting in the regular line and not even getting a fast pass for, because there's so many artifacts that you can kind of look at, and
they're all authentic, which is crazy.
Yeah, so Disney actually went to, I believe it was Nepal, and bought all the Sherpas new gear to trade for their old authentic gear, and they put it into the ride. And then I've even heard our guide last trip told us that they broke down a Sherpa house in Nepal and then rebuilt it in Orlando on the ride, brick by brick back up.
Yeah.
Just to stick with the authenticity of it.
Is ridiculous. I mean, so cool, because they could have replicated it so easily, but the fact that they went all the way to Nepal and spent so much time, it makes it really special. Yeah,
it was. I mean, as for the thrill ride aspect, it's pretty intense, but it's fun.
The back seat is
a different ride.
It is a different ride. It's definitely the most. If you're into
getting flung around, around the corners, do the back.
Yeah.
Wait for the back. moving on. Number 4, Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. This one's a little near and dear to our hearts because now there's Magic Band Fast Passes, so you can't get away with having like 10 in a day. But about 4 or 5 years ago, we went and we had 10 Fast Passes for this ride amongst our family at like 10 o'clock or 10 to 11 or whatever. And our family wanted to leave, so they just gave all 10 to Ann and I. So we cranked out Space Mountain like 5 times in an hour.
Yeah.
And we just kept getting back on it. And, you know, apparently this ride doesn't go faster than 27 or 28 miles per hour, but it's in the dark.
Yes, and it makes a lot of sharp turns. It doesn't ever flip.
It doesn't ever, but I think the dark sensation and like the cuttings, the ups,
and
the downs, the lefts, the rights.
You're in space, so there's like little stars everywhere, and I think that makes it.
Yeah. It's
so fun, and it's a very 90s ride. Like the queue is very dated.
Very 90s.
But it's a good one.
Man, it's classic.
It is. It's a must. I mean, that would be
a tops.
If anything, you got to go on space.
Yeah, if you're into the thrill, like you can't miss that one. It is just so fun, and I would recommend getting spending a fast pass for that.
Yes.
And then lastly, we're not going to leave this one out.
Oh my gosh.
Avatar Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom.
Like number 1.
Yeah, we said there's no particular order, but this was definitely we definitely waited on purpose for this one. It's different than anything you'll ever do. I had a friend go on this ride this year who kind of came with us for a day. He lives in Orlando, and we jumped on. He was asking me, "Hey, what's it like?"
It's so hard to explain.
And I was just like, "Bro, all I can tell you is I can't hype it up enough, and it'll still be better than that."
Yeah, it's a simulated ride, and the whole premise is if you've seen Avatar, you're on a Banshee riding through Pandora, and it's so realistic and it's so much fun. This is it the latest like big ride at Disney World?
Yeah, I think it's the latest.
Definitely has
no, Toy Story.
Oh, Toy Story.
But still, it's very
this is better than Toy Story.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Slinky Dog, we love you.
Good.
It's your good ride, but it's nothing compared to this. If you're gonna spend one fast pass,
yeah, we said that about space, but no, we're going back. Well, I guess it's Animal Kingdom, so it's
a
different
a different day. So I mean, like if you're gonna get one fast pass,
you've got
it's this, and you fly through Pandora on a Banshee, and it is just
it's so realistic. I mean, you
realistic.
truly feel like you're flying in this Pandora world, and you have the smells and the like.
Yeah, you go through water and you feel the water hitting you. And
yeah.
You sit on this like bike type thing, and you feel the Banshee breathing in and out.
Yeah.
And like when it stops, and then you jump off cliffs, and you legitimately feel the sensation of going 500 feet down. It's crazy.
And they have a really cool queue as well. So when you're waiting in line,
it's well done. And I would recommend watch the movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't, it'll really, I think it enhances the ride. That wraps up our top 5 thrills. We're going to move on to top 5 relaxed attraction. Again, no particular order. Number 1, Soarin'.
It's a good one.
It's at Epcot. It's just solid as they come. And I think one of the coolest things about this ride is grandma and a 5-year-old could go on it. You can have a range of 90 years.
Right. I'm not sure the height limit, but I would imagine
it's not terribly
I've seen
hot.
little kids, on it.
And it's just it's kind of a laid back version of Avatar Flight of Passage. In no way is it as detailed, but it's just you're flying through the world, going through all these really prevalent places in the world, the pyramids in Egypt, the Taj Mahal in India, and Kilimanjaro. You're going through a safari in the Serengeti Plain, and you can see Kilimanjaro in the background. And then they do a really good job of enhancing it.
Yes.
Because they use smells. Yeah. They use the wind glider, like they blow wind on your face when you feel like you're starting to fly faster. Yeah, so a little bit
similar to Avatar.
Same concept. Yeah. Just a little dated.
Yes.
But this one's more family friendly.
Yeah, and they updated this one actually. The IMAX portion of it, like the movie.
It used to be Soaring Over California.
Yeah, and they updated it about 3 years ago.
It needed to be updated.
All the way it did, because you just realize how much like our eyes have adjusted to the
HD.
HD TV, and so you could see like all the
grains.
all the pixels and the grains and whatnot. And,
sure. And then lastly, the rows are giant. So if you're in a big group, everybody can do it together, which is very rare at Disney World.
True. And
it's just classic. I mean, you'll relax in it. You can your feet dangle. It's another way. You're off your feet. You're not putting pressure on your feet. Number 2, Haunted Mansion at the Magic Kingdom. Haunted Mansion. How's that relaxed? It's not the scariest thing in the world. It's kind of like I can
on like a conveyor belt essentially the whole time.
Yeah, you're just moving real slowly.
Yeah.
It's highly air conditioned. But the thing is it's so awesome because how many times have we ridden that ride?
I would say upwards of 25, 30.
And we find something new every single time.
Yeah.
Like literally every single time.
Every single time.
And that, it's kind of fun to kind of sit back in the AC and relax and look for different things because it's just, it's a great ride and it's not like supposed to be the scariest thing in the world. There's definitely some aspects that could be scary, like the introduction part with the that's a little morbid, but you could take,
we won't ruin it.
You can take some little kids on that and
I don't know, it depends.
What, 7?
I would say 7 and up.
Okay.
If they're brave.
Yeah, but the ride, it's not like, I don't think they're intending it to be like
No, I don't
like
know.
horror.
I have a bad barometer for that, but
regardless, it's great. You'll relax in it. You can kind of look around and see different things every time you ride it. You can go on it a few different times and still get a lot out of it, I think. And I think that makes it one of the great rides of Disney. Number 3, Pirates of the Caribbean, a Magic Kingdom. This is your personal favorite.
I love it. I say that we joke. We say when we retire, we're moving to Orlando, and we're gonna both work at Disney World. And this is the ride I would work at because it's awesome. It's a boat ride. It's underground, air conditioned, shaded as can be. So
right. So you get in this little boat and you kind of go through this little Caribbean town, and you see Johnny Depp along the way. Not the real Johnny Depp, but you kind of see him along the way. Mm-hmm. Ultimately getting the gold, and they burn down this city, and the pirates make this big fuss at this city, and they end up with the gold. And it's a great little story, and you're gonna relax during it. And,
it is relaxing.
And it's just, again, it's like you feel stimulated the whole time because everywhere you look, there's something different.
Yep.
And you could ride it 3 or 4 times and not see the same things that you saw the time before, or there's different voiceovers or something like that. Like,
yeah.
And
the fact that they based the Pirates of the Caribbean movies after this ride. So the fact that they were able to create however many, I lost count, Pirates of the Caribbean movies off of one Disney movie just kind of explains it all for me.
Sure. No, that's a great one. I'm gonna move on. Number 4, the Navi River Journey at Animal Kingdom. This is again in Pandora, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, like if there was a ride that I could like put a cot in the boat and just like lay down. Cool. There's just so many vibrant lights, and if you've seen Avatar, I think again it
makes a lot more sense.
You'll get a lot more out of it because of all the. You'll still like it because of all the vibrant colors, but you'll be able to recognize different things and be like, oh, cool, that's from the movie. And it's a long wait. It's a great ride, though.
Yeah, very relaxing.
Very relaxing and air conditioned. And then they have this animatronic of an avatar, of the mom from Avatar, and it's
built to scale, so avatars, I think, are 7.
Yeah, I think they're 10 feet.
10 feet?
Yeah,
10
they're
feet,
giant.
Way off.
And I might be wrong, but it's giant and it's relaxing. It's they kind of have this music going in the serene music going in the background. It
is cool.
We usually go there after lunch.
Yes, that's a good
It's because you
tame ride. Don't do rock and roller coaster.
What was your rule? The swimming pool rule?
Yeah, swimming pool. Yeah, wait 30 minutes after you eat before you swim. This is a good. You can just go right into this.
Yeah, this is. And they don't. You might fall asleep, but it's greatness. And then lastly, number 5, Kilimanjaro Safari at Animal Kingdom. We say relaxed. It's bumpy.
It is a little A little bumpy, yeah.
But it's relaxed because it's just like you feel like you're kind of out in nature. They do a really good job of setting up this whole. You feel like you're in the Serengeti Plain, and you feel like you're just kind of watching animals.
Yep.
And like I said, the ride itself, it's a little bumpy, and you're not going to be able to like.
You don't need a seatbelt or anything.
No, you're not going to fall asleep or anything either. But it's just you relax.
Yeah.
You kind of get to look and go through the Serengeti Plain and see all these unique animals. We saw a cheetah and a lion. We see a lion every 3 times.
We were so close to 5 giraffes or 4 or something, like a bunch of giraffes. We're so close.
Literally
to us
like
last time.
like 3 feet from us.
They're beautiful, and I know Disney, they do a really good job to protect these animals and take really good care of them. It's almost, I think it might be a sanctuary of some sort.
Sure.
But you realize those Disney animals, they live pretty well.
Yeah, they live very well, and they don't have to hunt for food or anything
Yeah.
like that. But I mean, it's great. You're gonna relax and enjoy yourself on that one, and it's a ride a whole family can do on the same row, and young kids can do it. And you just don't want to miss that. It's one of my favorites. Go in the morning or the late afternoon, I hear, is the best times to go.
Basically whenever it's coolest in the day, and if it's cloudy, because that's when animals will come out.
Right. Oh, man, it's greatness. Okay, so those were our top 5 most relaxed attractions. I'm going to throw in 2 honorable mentions just because they deserve to be hit on, but
True.
They just didn't crack the top 5. The Tower of Terror is a thrill ride.
Oh, it's a good one.
But it is just so well. Like, I could just walk the queue of the Tower of Terror and be content.
Yeah.
It is set in 1939 in this hotel. And, I mean, it's so well thought out and so well done. And then I love the sensation of drops. And that's not your favorite.
Yeah, for some reason, with age, this one has made me a little sick to my stomach lately. But it's still such a blast.
Oh, but the beauty of it, I think, is you walk through the hotel and you just everything on the ride is so well done.
And I still go on the ride because it is so well done, and it's still a blast.
Yeah, so I want to hit on that, and then another one I want to hit on, the second honorable mention, Toy Story Mania. Mm-hmm. And I want to hit on this again for theming.
This is such a Ryan ride too, because Ryan is the most competitive person, as most of you all, I'm sure, know.
Yeah.
And it is. You can explain the.
Yeah, it's a game. I want to hit on the queue first because
Yes,
I do
yeah.
love it for that.
Yeah.
Like, you walk through and you feel, they make you feel like a toy. Like, every connects, Uno, Chutes and Ladders.
They're oversized.
Connect 4 is oversized, and you're walking through it, and you're looking around, and you're like, "Wow!" They do a really good job of trying to make you feel like a toy, and then you go into the ride, and it's a competition, and there's these little like cheats within the competition that you have to work together for, but you're still trying to beat your partner. And if you know me at all, you know I love competition. And Ann and I split for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
I beat her the first time, and she beat me, and it made for
Yep.
a disappointing.
That's my claim to fame. I beat you in Toy Story.
But it needed to be mentioned.
I
wouldn't say it's a relaxed ride, especially if you're going with someone competitive. I would just say go for the queue.
Yeah, and I think too, anyone can enjoy this ride. You don't have to be competitive. You don't have to.
It's better if you are, though. Moving on, we're going to kind of hit on our top 3 restaurants. And look, we know there are more than 3 good restaurants.
This is so hard for us.
Leaving off Tepanetto was like the hardest thing ever. And
we'll
Tepanetto's,
talk about that
later. Yeah. We'll cheat again. Yeah, we'll cheat again. It's an honorable mention. Just know that. It's great. But first one is Via Napoli.
However you say it. Via Napoli.
It's not Napoli.
Is it? Via Napoli.
We have a joke. Sorry. Via Napoli at the Italy Pavilion in Epcot. It's just good.
It's obviously Italian food, pizza.
Be careful going for lunch because if you eat too much, you'll want to fall asleep. We kind of changed changed it a little bit this year. We got Caesar salad and split a pizza among 3 people.
Yeah,
and we didn't feel that
paced
tired.
Ourselves,
we paced it for the first time in history.
Ever. But we always go during lunch. We just have to be careful about it. It's just, oh man, the pizza, it's flatbread. It does taste like Italian, authentic Italian pizza. And they have great Caesar salad, great calamari, just really good. And the ambiance too. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous place, and everybody that works in a pavilion in Epcot is from that country.
Yes, yeah.
So they really try and do the authentic feel of it, and it's great pizza.
So good.
And it feels very authentic. Mm-hmm. Our second one, the Boathouse at Disney Springs. We actually missed this year.
We did,
but it rings true in our heart. It is so good.
It is, and Disney Springs is downtown Disney, or
formerly known as
downtown Disney.
And you go there in the Boathouse. It always has a wait, and you get reservations.
Yeah,
like you have to get reservations
for all of these.
And you go there, and it's a seafood steakhouse, and it's just so good. And they use these butter rolls to start you with, and it's hard not to fill up on the rolls.
They're so good. The rolls. Clearly, I like pretzels, but they're pretzel bread rolls. They're different types of rolls, and the butter that they use is like sweet and
salted. It's insane.
So good.
So just to start you off, it's really good, and then you can get this giant dessert called the baked Alaska at the end that they kind of set on fire, and it's ice cream. It's so cool. But steak's phenomenal.
I get the burger.
You get the burger. I get steak and lobster.
Yeah, you're surf and turf guy.
Yeah, I spend a lot. That's a place I'll spend a lot though. And it's 100% worth it.
Another worth it.
Yeah, another worth it. All 3 of these places that we mentioned are not cheap by any means. So if you go, save up and do it right. In our opinion, that's our opinion.
We prioritize food, so
sure. The number 3, or the last one, it's definitely not number 3. It's my favorite meal that we go to Disney. Le Cellier in Canada. I've never come close to having anything bad there.
No, and their service too, incredible.
Yeah, the Canadians are like nice thing. It's like
it's true.
It rains true. It rains
at Disney.
At least at Disney World, and the steaks are unbelievable.
Really good.
They have poutine, and they kind of like make it their own poutine. They use this red wine reduction with French fries and cheese curds and a little bit of gravy, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then the lobster mac.
Oh my gosh, lobster mac and cheese, so good.
And then they have great French fries too, which I love with my steak. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but go ahead.
And going back to lobster mac and cheese, I think sometimes most of the time when you get lobster mac and cheese, you get more mac and cheese than lobster, but they truly did 50-50 lobster mac and cheese. So they didn't skimp out.
It's a rich meal.
Yes.
So, like, if you're going to eat it, have something a little bit smaller for lunch, I'd say. And then go big at dinner.
And then just go to bed.
Yeah, and then just go, because you're going to want to go to sleep. My recommendation is stay at the boardwalk, eat at Le Cellier, walk out while the fireworks are happening, and kind of look, wave, go back, go to your room, and go to sleep. Or actually go to Ample Hills, then go to sleep. But we'll get there. Moving on, that rounds up our top 3 restaurants. Again, well, there was kind of an order. Le Cellier was definitely the top one.
Yeah.
And then top 3 desserts. This felt like low-hanging fruit, but not in our family. The Mickey Premium Bars.
This is a classic.
It's just a classic, and we always find ourselves getting one.
Yeah.
And it's no different probably from a Dove chocolate bar.
It'd be like 10 a.m. We're like...
Yeah, but they're just so good.
Yeah, they are.
It's just it's a dipped Mickey ice cream, and it's just good. It is. I think part of the thing is like we're very nostalgic. Like we have these great memories.
Yes.
Of eating these, at 10 a.m. Again, 10 a.m.
Walking around the park, so fun.
So get a Mickey Premium Bar, make a memory. Number 2, the strawberry shortcake at the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. So the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review is this the longest running dinner show in the nation, and it is hysterical, like absolutely hysterical.
Yeah. And to clarify, when it says longest running dinner show, because at first I was like, oh my gosh, is it like 5 hours long? It's it's been running for how many years?
1978?
Yeah, something like that. Just to clarify, because I was like, I don't like that. I don't want to be at dinner for.
But so they bring you out, it's all you can eat. And at the end of the night, they put out all-you-can-eat strawberry shortcake. And it's like airy.
I feel like you're eating nothing.
You feel like you're eating nothing, and then there's strawberries and whipped cream, and you just like, and then it's angel food cake.
Yes.
And you just kind of keep eating it, and the waitress walks by or the waiter, and they're like, I'm like, yep, go ahead and bring on another one, and you just kind of keep eating it.
Really good. You feel like it's healthy.
Strawberries. Yeah, but the last 30 minutes of the night is taken up by eating.
Yeah, it's so
strawberry
good.
Shortcake, and it's
fantastic.
I can't say enough about that. Like, it's just, it's really good. And lastly, the crescendo, Ample Hills Creamery. This is located on the boardwalk, and it's unbelievable.
So good.
It's the best ice cream. Shout out to one of my buddies who told me about it, Joey. There's one in Brooklyn, and he says, dude, this creamery just opened up in Disney World. You've got to go. It's called Ample Hills. And he gave me 2 flavors to get, and I have not varied away from either one of those flavors. And that's Nana D's oatmeal lace and then the ooey gooey butter cake. And then you came in clutch.
I did.
About 2 weeks ago.
I was in Central Market, and I walked down the ice cream aisle, and turns out about, I guess, a month ago or so, they started selling Ample Hills in pint size, and they're like $5 a pint, but so worth it. So worth it. And it's just, if you ever get a chance to go to, I would say go out of your way to go get this ice cream. Yeah.
And you will not go wrong.
Yeah, Nana D's oatmeal lace, it's like a cinnamon base ice cream, and then it has chunks of oatmeal cookie in it, and it doesn't have raisins because I don't like raisins. And it's so good. And then ooey gooey
is a vanilla with a butter cake, with little chunks of butter cake in there, and it's
so good.
It's amazing. I split it right down in 2. Yeah. I have a system, quite frankly, and it's totally. I would go out of your way to go to Ample Hills. It's on the boardwalk. If you're in Epcot one day, walk out of Epcot, go get your ice cream, walk right back in Epcot, because it's worth it.
It is.
And a couple things before we go, that kind of wraps up our tops list, and I just wanted to hit y'all with a couple of things. We're always looking to go with people, so if you're down, come on.
All are welcome.
All are welcome. And then, second, if you're going and you need any advice, we could steer you in our way. Like we feel like we have the best way, but everybody feels that way.
We genuinely enjoy
helping
talking about Disney World. Like, it has never worked for us. If someone asks me, hey, what should I do, I will spend so much time gladly.
Happily, like, going through, you want me to send you our plans? And so if you ever need any help, please just reach out. It's very simple, and we'd love to help you out. But I just hope you enjoyed this episode of Mass's World, and I look forward to you joining next time.
Yeah, let's plan our next trip.
No doubt we'll do it on here next time.
Yeah.
All right, see ya. I just want to thank y'all for tuning into the show. Again, if you like this podcast, please subscribe and give it a 5-star rating or review wherever you get your podcasts. I hope you'll join me next time.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.